it's been anything but an overnight success, but I'm incredibly grateful and honored that I have now been able to serve thousands of students in my online branding courses, hundreds of one-on-one clients, and have reached financial goals that I didn't think were possible. Just finished taxes for the last year and I'm officially paying, oh my gosh, 3 times as much as I grossed in my first year of business. So there's been some serious growth, and in this video, I'm going to share 6 things that I wish I knew back then when I was just getting started. If you haven't had the pleasure, my name is Kaye Putnam. I'm the psychology-driven brand strategist. I help entrepreneurs change the world with what they know by getting that genius out of your brain and bringing it to the world so that you can serve the people that you are meant to serve. Welcome, let's get into it. The first thing that I wish I knew when I was getting started is where to put my focus. There is, of course, an infinite amount of things on your to-do list, particularly when you're just getting started, building everything from scratch. And you can't do everything all at once. The thing that I've learned these days, even now, how many years into it? 8 years into it, 9 years into it, is to focus on building systems and assets, not on fleeting visibility or shiny objects. There is something to be said about showing up, for being visible, by being in all of the places. There's some limited value to all of that. But if you don't have the time to do everything, focus on the parts of your brand that are going to continue to serve you past the point where people have scrolled past you on the newsfeed. So things like your email automation, building really incredible products, building a client system, both onboarding system and how you serve clients. All of these are really, really powerful and are going to serve you for your next client, your next student, for everybody that comes into contact with your brand, not just that person that's passively scrolling past you. So instead of focusing on the post or the gimmick or the shiny object or the new trend, focus on the things that you are going to use in your business for a really long period of time. I could give a ton of examples of this, but for me, these things have been my quiz, so like a really powerful lead generation tool. It could also be my email automation, so that whole nurturing sequence where every single person that comes onto my email list gets to know me and my brand throughout time because I've built that email nurturing sequence. It's the scalable products that can be sold again and again and again and serve people again and again and again and again. It's also the brand standards that allow me to equip my team members to be my brand. So those foundational decisions that you can make in your brand that you don't have to make again. So once you decide your colors, once you decide those key brand decisions, your voice, your messaging, your key point of view statements, you don't have to continue to reinvent the wheel. You can just continue to go back to those really strong and powerful branding messages if you do it right and build those from the inside out. If you want help figuring out those key brand standards, I highly recommend my brand new brand program. It walks you through that process step by step by step by step. Thing number 2 that I wish little old Kaye knew back when I first started my business back in 2013 was being likable is not the goal. I cringe because one of the first posts that I published on my blog was literally how to be more likable. I've always been obsessed with psychology. I've been fascinated with why people gravitate towards some people more than others. And In my early days, I thought it was because some people were more likable. This may be true, but going at it from that angle is exactly the wrong angle to go from, because it repels people. Any feeling of neediness, of scarcity, of not being centered and secure in who you are is going to repel people away from you. So instead of looking outwards at how you think you should be or how people might perceive you, it's much more important for you to get in alignment with the confidence in being who you are, getting really, really clear on how you want to show up in the world and what you believe and how you want to change the world. Knowing those, being unapologetic about those key messages are magnetic. It brings people towards you automatically without you even trying. Third thing that I wish that I knew when I first got started was the fact that presentation matters. Now, this is unpopular advice. A lot of people will tell you, don't worry about the website, or like, just launch, just get yourself out there. And there is some element of truth to that. And people are making snap decisions about if they should trust you or not. So don't just half-ass everything. Speed is important, but presentation is also important. So at every step, do your best. At every step, serve at your highest capacity. Don't put something out that you know is messy, that you know is incomplete. Get something out there that people can use, that they'll get benefit from, and then improve it over time. The beautiful thing is, no matter what, like no matter how high of a level of excellence that you hold yourself to in the beginning, a couple years down the road, you're gonna look back and just cringe, because you're going to be at such a higher level if you're doing things right. So there's this balance. I fully acknowledge there's a balance between just shipping, like getting the thing out there, not being a perfectionist, but still doing your best work in the given moment. I think that some people take that like launch early, launch scared advice too far, and they put stuff out that's messy or that is not their best work. And then that stuff makes a real impression on people. So don't expect things to be perfect, but do your best in any given moment, because it does matter. And like we talked about in lesson number 1, a lot of those things, if you're building brand assets, are going to stick with you for a really long time. So don't build something that you're going to have to redo in 3 months because it was shoddy work. Build something that's amazing so that you feel really good about selling it years down the road, in the example of a product. Fourth thing that I wish I knew back then was to pay less attention to market research. And I think this goes back to lesson number 2 of not trying to be liked. But similarly, I was thinking that if I just do enough research, if I be a good enough student, that I can find the best and most profitable business and product and message and all of these things. But the truth is, there are infinite profitable businesses. There are infinite profitable brands that can be built. The alignment, the personal excitement, the personal energy that you put behind something is equally as important as if the market wants the thing that you're selling. So don't ignore your heart, your passion, your expertise, your unfair advantage, your innate advantage, and just try to bring the market what the market wants. You need to meet the market at that marriage of, this is how I can change the world, and then communicating that or packaging that up in a way that the market is going to understand and value. So start inside, and then once you know who you are and how you want to make an impact, then you can start to do some market research, but don't let that dictate your entire business or even your core product decisions, because the market doesn't know. Think about Steve Jobs. He wasn't asking people what they wanted. He was being a visionary. He was creating what he thought was possible at that level of excellence that he knew he wanted to deliver to the market. And then he was meeting people where they were at with what this revolutionary product could do for them in a language that they could understand. So again, we're going to use market research to help us market, to help us create marketing messages around our product or our service, but it shouldn't dictate our entire business. Lesson number 5 that I wish I could tell wee Kaye when she was just starting her brand is to go at your own pace. There's always going to be somebody that like explodes onto the market and makes 6 figures or 7 figures in the time that I made 2 figures. And that's okay. The important thing is not to quit. So my first, say like 2 or 3 years in business, I think I made less than $30K in profit each of those first 3 years. And I know that there's tons of business owners who made $100K or $200K or $1 million in profit in their first couple years of business. That wasn't my story, and maybe it's not as sexy of a marketing message. But these days I'm making over $30K a month consistently. So I didn't quit. I kept improving. I kept serving. I kept showing up. I kept getting better, and it's paying off exponentially now. So keep going, keep moving forward, keep doing your best to improve the world in your own way, and then see the results grow over time. And that brings me to our last lesson that I would tell young Kaye about starting her brand is to hire help and hire support sooner. I was petrified for a few different reasons. One, because I wasn't profiting that much money. I wasn't making a whole lot from my business in those early days, but I was afraid to bring on help. And I was at that point where I was booked out solid, but I still wasn't making a profit in my business because I didn't have it priced correctly. I didn't have the business model set up. And so much of those first 3 years of awkward ineffectiveness could have been shortcutted by hiring a mentor, by being in a group that would help me build my brand from scratch smarter. So I would have definitely gone back and been in some groups that would have expedited or accelerated my success instead of trying to do everything on my own. I think back then I wanted to prove to myself that I could, and I've learned since that accepting support and receiving help and advice, as long as I have that groundedness of who I am and how I want to show up, and the knowledge that I'm going to go at my own pace, even if I'm taking advice or mentorship from somebody, it could have helped a lot. So I would have both hired a mentor and I would have brought people onto my team sooner if I would go back and figure that out. So there you go. 6 things that I wish I knew when I was first starting my brand. I hope some of these are helpful for you and that you can bypass some of the mistakes that I made or learn the lessons sooner. And let me know down in the comments, what would you tell yourself, your younger self, right when you were getting started in your brand, if you've been doing it for a minute, or if you are just getting started, what piece of advice or what lesson did I share that resonated the most with you? Can't wait to hear. See you guys next time.